Skeleton Crew has come to a close, and it almost brings a tear to my eye, because now I feel bad for Star Wars. Ah, poor Star Wars, we knew ye well. And as someone who watched every single episode of Skeleton Crew, I can firmly say the show was fun. It was all right. It's all right. It's got it's kind of for kids, and it's got that whole Goonies vibe going on, but it's clearly in Star Wars world, and it was directed fine. Most of the acting was fine. It's a good little adventure. But for me, it's too little too late. It clearly demonstrates why the brand of Star Wars is virtually dead, with little to zero interest from anybody anymore. And it's kind of a shame. But let's talk about the finale and the season overall. We'll review it. And not many of you watched it, so I'll give you a description of what you missed, because I suspect you didn't see it. The interesting part is the finale places it in a time frame, but it's not exactly clear where the time frame is. And there will be spoilers for the show, which you probably don't care about because you didn't see it. So a bunch of little kids, like not quite tweens, maybe tweens, like 12, 13, etc., etc. They're bored being in their normal lives. They live in this world. It's like a suburb of Star Wars. It's not really connected to Star Wars, which is a benefit to it. We're not on Tatooine. We're not connected to the Skywalkers. Like, this is what they should have done from the beginning if they were going to try to expand the universe and distance themselves from Star Wars proper, because everything else has got to be linked to the Skywalkers and the Palpatines. Like, you're just kind of stuck at this point. So you get all these kids, and they stumble upon a starship, and the starship sends them to a remote world. They meet, there's a robot on board, and the robot has a guide. And they end up find out that they go to there's a pirate ship, and they go to a pirate world. And the only thing I'll say is they don't explain a lot here. You're kind of left with some unknown variables as to what's going on. But, there's 4 kids. There's the plucky elephant kid. There's the kid who's looking for adventure because he wants to be a Jedi. There's this girl, KB, who's one of those drone people because she had some sort of horrific accident where they had to replace her brain with a computer or something. And then they have the tomboy who likes to mansplain things to everybody. And they're fine. They're a little annoying, but they're kids. It was better when there's adults in it and they're talking to the kids, and the kids are reacting or interacting. As soon as you get the kids just talk about themselves, it's like, I don't need this. So eventually they run into a pirate they get in prison. They end up with a pirate who's in prison who says, I'll get you guys home. Essentially, they're on this this planet. They're from a planet that's being hidden from the Empire because it's where they make all their credits. It's the old Republic credits. It's like a mint. And the kids end up, in a bunch of wacky adventures. But they meet a pirate, and the pirate's their guide, and that's Jude Law. Jude Law is awesome. But it's never really clear. They don't delineate between him being a true villain or a sympathetic character, because he doesn't want to kill anybody, but he also doesn't want to he's still a scumbag. He's still a villain in the end. So he ends up figuring out where the kids come from, and he figures out it's the mint, and he betrays the kids, and they end up back on the kids' home planet. Chaos ensues. He brings his pirate buddies, but eventually they're defeated by a handful of X-Wings and B-Wings. It's literally like 6 ships that take out their pirate vessel. So let me get to the more important parts of that's the basic plot. The finale itself, I felt was a little rushed. Like the pacing on this thing was kind of all over the place. First episode was a little boring. Second episode was overall like it was just uneven, and the episode lengths were uneven. Just not sure what's going on here. But I thought overall the show was fine. Like those criticisms are more heavier than they need to be. Because when the kid, like, there's a lot of practical creatures and stuff, which is great. There's not that much connection to the old lore. You're not sure whether or not Jude Law is a Jedi. He has Force potential. He met a Jedi, but they do connect it to Order 66. So this takes place after Order 66, which is weird. And that's how they figure out that Jude Law is bad. Essentially, this planet is being run by a droid, which is bizarre because the Emperor is not about having droids run anything, because he decommissions all the droids and has clones and soldiers running everything. But whatever. Inconsistencies abound. And that's where I felt the finale fell a little short. While it was a lot of like high tension and impact and like fun, there's a bunch of pirates chasing around these kids on essentially bicycles. They're hover bikes. So they're like the bikes from Return of the Jedi, but a little bit slower maybe. And these guys couldn't hit the blind side of a barn. They can't hit anything. They're chasing these dudes around for like 15 minutes of the entire episode. And the episode was only a half hour. And they can't hit anything. The other plot point that I have problems with is Jude Law is a Force user. And he's shown numerous times throwing people across rooms and picking up items like lightsabers with the Force. And he doesn't use it several times when he could easily use it. He also would have ended all of his problems if he just killed the kids, but he refused to. And they don't really give you a reason why. He's like a scumbag pirate, but he doesn't want to kill the kids, and they don't really give a reason why. The other thing I'll say is there's giant plot holes in this because they were rushing through it. There's this giant tower that they have to get up to meet the supervisor of the whole planet. And Jude Law tricks his way in there, which I thought was clever. And he ends up killing the supervisor, which is a droid. And the supervisor apparently controls all the power for the planet. So all the power goes off, except for the thing that's protecting the planet's shield, which is this crazy atmosphere. But they have to, the kids want to fly their spaceship up outside of the planet and signal the Republic to come help them with their X-Wings. But they have docking clamps, and they won't release because the power's off. Well, the supervisor's in a giant tower, and the kid Win, or whatever his name, Finn, Win, whatever. I couldn't keep track of the kids' names because I didn't care. Ends up, he's like, I'm gonna take hey Dad, you need to take me up. Like his dad has to go and turn the power back on. Except they have to go up a giant tower, and people just kind of teleport in this episode. And there's no power. How did you get up the turbo lift? Because it clearly shown riding the turbo lift. And there's no power. So how did you get up the turbo lift? All the droids are off because there's no power. There's just no power. Where did you get the power? And they don't show them climbing up anything. So I'm just saying, people teleport, giant plot holes, plot armor. Essentially nobody dies. It's fine. It's enjoyable. It's a little violent for a kid show, but it's not like terribly violent. And I think it's a fun adventure. So overall, it was fine. It was good. It's not great. It's good. Skeleton Crew, according to the AV Club, delivers a satisfying homage-filled finale. All right. Skeleton Crew's season finale offered arguably the purest expression of Star Wars as a franchise in years. I still like Andor better. Just saying. But the one that captured the project at its core. The finale starts with a cool homage, this time to the Wizard of Oz. After Jod convinces the kid's parents he is a Republic emissary, he politely and not very discreetly takes Fern and her mom hostage, I did like that part where he was like, look, I will kill your parents, even though he's never seen killing anybody. And then they're going to go see the supervisor. Why is that a homage to Wizard of Oz? It's stupid. I do like the droid, Stephen Fry, great. Like, all the acting, like I said, was pretty good. Even the kids weren't terrible. But anyway, I don't care about all the homages. I just think it was fine. These people are trying to show how great it is. It was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. They did have a space microwave. That is kind of interesting. Not really. I think, yeah. The Star Wars planet controlled by a droid, it all the power goes off. You just stab it in the eye. Jod's backstory easily could have turned into Cal Kestis. Don't know who that is. See, I'm like an OG Star Wars guy and a extended universe Star Wars guy. I read like 8 or 9 of the extended universe books. But as soon as it goes to like the Clone Wars and the cartoons and stuff, like, I was an adult. I don't watch kids shows. Like, I don't watch cartoons. I watch anime, but not cartoons. Got me? So here's the big problem with Skeleton Crew. It's bad news. And the other thing I would say is it doesn't deserve a season 2. Not that it's bad, but what are you going to do with the kids? Like, they don't answer a ton of questions. There's a ton of questions that aren't answered. But frankly, they're kids. What would you... It's be like Goonies 2. Oh, let's do Goonies 1 again. They'll get stuck into another wacky, zany adventure. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't happen. You can't have kids doing the same adventure twice, right? And apparently the ratings are... it's the least successful show by a wide margin. Apparently, it's the least watched show ever. Acolyte already set the record, and then which was Andor was the least watched because Cassian Andor was a scumbag, and nobody cares about a prequel to a show where the guy already dies. They should have done a better job of like showing you that the show's not about Cassian Andor. It's about the name Andor. All right. Not spoiling it. And then I watched The Acolyte 2, and The Acolyte sucked despite some of the acting. And then Acolyte was the least watched. And now this is like, it never even charted on the Nielsen ratings. It's that bad. And at least The Acolyte did that a couple of times. At least The Acolyte you could hate watch. This was clearly a show for kids. It cost less. It cost $136 million to make, which is way cheaper than the $200 million. That's the other thing. Clearly, the Acolyte is laundering money because the Acolyte was $200+ million. I heard about $230. Skeleton Crew is $136 million, and they look the same, right? Even Game of Thrones, the final season of Game of Thrones was $15 million. Like, what are you doing? So I don't see any way this gets a season 2. And they're like, why? What was the point? And they definitely don't define where the show is in the timeline, which is fine. Just give us hints. But again, if you don't answer any of the main questions, there's no point for a season 2. So I'll wrap it up there. I feel like I talked too long about this for a show that nobody watched. I hope I gave you an insight to it if you didn't watch it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. Do you like me breaking it down for you? Did you watch it yourself? Is there something more I could give you guys? Thank you for watching. Do the like and subscribe thing. It helps us keep the show running, keeps the lights on, keeps me stocked in little tiny guys back there who are dancing. See those little guys back there? See my C-3PO up there? How can I afford one if you guys aren't liking and subscribing or joining the show? Anyway, I love y'all. Just teasing. Thanks so much for watching, but I guess I'm on to the next one. Love y'all. Bye.
Thanks for catching the video. Be sure to join our channel to get the education you deserve. Make sure you check out our shorts, live streams, and catch us on all the socials. Don't forget to like and subscribe.